You are watching the origin story of Eugenius in replay.
It's very true, actually.
We're not in Clapham right now, but we are in a pub with a beer. So, who knows what we're going to write tonight after we've had several of these. This could be our next masterpiece.
Yeah, it was just in a very normal situation. It wasn't like, no pressure of sitting in a meeting going, right, we need to write a show. It was, let's just do something, let's just create something, have a bit of fun with it and see what happens, really. So we gave ourselves a couple of reference points for the opening number. I love War of the Worlds and I love Flash Gordon and all those 50s B movies and right up to the 80s stuff. Let's just create something that kind of ticks a lot of those boxes of the things we love. It was a really organic process. And funny enough, that song is still the same. And it is quite quirky, but I think that's what sets the tone of the show for us. It lets you know that you're not supposed to take this too seriously as well. Let everyone know that we know that it's a bit silly.
Yeah, I think if you try and do a lot of the stuff that we do in Eugenius without people, if they actually thought that we as writers were being deadly serious and taking ourselves very seriously, we completely missed the point of the show. So it's really important for us to start out as we meant to go on. Yes, there have been songs that have been taken out. I still really love the song that we had for Theo. I know I've seen quite a lot of tweets saying Theo needs a song, because Scott has brought so much life to it. We had a song for the dad.
Yeah.
Really nice song. If we could do 3 hours worth of Eugenius, there's definitely enough stuff there to squeeze it out. Yeah. There are jokes that have gone, which we thought about. I was like, that can't go. But it's like, no, it has to go because of this and that. And I was like, oh, I understand.
The thing is, when you cut something, it has a knock-on effect to lots of other things as well. And so sometimes you go, right, if we need to make that fundamental change, that bit's got to get changed 20 minutes later as well. When you do a show like this, if you overstay your welcome in the length of it, really, people get drained. There's a limit to even if you're really enjoying something about how many times you can laugh and stuff like that. So you've got to get out while people are still on that high. And I think we just get that. Even on the last run we've taken out, I think our running times are about 10 minutes less from this run than they were on the previous run.
And there's been some things that have been taken out that, there's one particular joke that it was my favourite thing of the entire piece. I won't say what it is in case I offend more people. But we had to take it out. But we couldn't find something better to replace it with. So every time it came up, I was like, oh. So now you came up with Don't Make Me Angry Moonin', which really is really funny as well. So I don't miss it quite as much. But until we found that, every time we got to that bit, I was like, bring back the old line.
So
I love your t-shirt, by the way. I've only just noticed. Yeah, I saw it online, but I've never seen it in actual.
And everything.
It's amazing. I love the circle as well.
It's really cool. It's just nice. It makes me remember, that there are these lovely quotes and stuff.
Definitely use that.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
We even have. I don't know if you noticed that one, and it's one of your favourites as well. I know. The back on topic, the same one.
I was pleased. I got an email from our producer Kevin recently, and he signed off by saying "back on topic the sea monkeys," and I was like, "Producer's even using that now." I miss it. It's one of those ones that I miss, but we were talking earlier on,
I'll be honest, I haven't even noticed that it's gone.
Thanks, Ben.
It's amazing. Yeah, that's how much your words mean.
No, but we've got the wrestling one instead now. So
yeah.
I think the characters are designed to be stock characters, and they're all different personalities and different ideas. I mean, I couldn't make that any more clearer by calling a character Stock Jock. It's a stock personality, so they're all designed to give you different, elements of a personality, and there's very clear goodies and very clear baddies. For me, Janie's the barometer of what I want anybody to see the show to be. Is that there's no weakness in supporting someone. It's I get frustrated with the idea that any character like that, because you are backing someone else, could be seen as a weak character. I think it takes more strength to support someone and to will someone onto success is a really positive thing. And also on that side of things, I think that the ultimate part of the story is that love is not a weakness. Showing love for someone is not a weak thing, and so the whole show is about toughness is weakens my love and all that sort of stuff, but it's resolved by a kiss and finding out that they need each other, and it's all about supporting your friends and needing someone, and that's what makes us better people. So that's all you want, really. It's a very silly story, but ultimately it's telling you to trust yourself and be yourself.
It's a silly story, but with a lot of heart, and I think a lot of from what I can gather from a lot of people, what they take from it is that, you know, I've heard a lot of people say that they've come out and they feel like they can take on the world and conquer anything, and that, you know, that's a great message. Don't shoot for the stars, shoot higher. And, you know, you can do anything. Doesn't matter how small or insignificant you feel or you appear, or, you know, maybe you're not the cool kid at school or whatever. Even if you look at stuff from school and stuff like that, the people that are the most successful people now are not your cool kids or your stock jocks or your, you know, it is the people that got down, worked hard, really nice people, you know, and those are the people that are doing the best. It's a universal message that everybody can take something from.
There's something really interesting at the moment about, because the show is set in the 80s and we've tried to be quite truthful to that time period, didn't it? The good and the bad side of it. That it's nice now to look at that time period and say, isn't it nice that we've moved on from certain things? But you can only say that if you're watching it to say, isn't it better now? If you kind of ignore it, then you're not actually evolving society. And, you know, so I think actually that we do show up some stuff, whether it be comical or not, is actually important to say, God, we've moved on from that, or maybe we need to do more. So I quite like that.
I think that's a sign of when someone's come down and not understood the show, where they sit there and they go and they pinpoint stuff and they go, well, how can you write a character that's this in this day and age and stuff like that, thinking that we don't know that it's unacceptable that they're behaving in that way, because that's actually the entire point of why it's written like that, because we're not saying that this is acceptable now or this is you know, how things should be done or whatever. We're just making an observation that those characters were around then. And yes, you know, some characters are saying things that were a bit sexist or you know, a bit skewy or you know, things that aren't acceptable now, but it's set in the 80s and that's what happened then. We're not saying this happened now and it's fine. We're saying, look at that, isn't that awful? And actually the people that are saying awful stuff are the baddies, the bad characters in this, because we're showing them up for what they are. So, you know, we haven't written it, we've written this very carefully. It's not like we've sat there and just been like, oh, we'll do this because it's funny. We're like, actually, we recognise that these are not acceptable things, and that's exactly why we've written it.
But as I said, the worst thing you can do is pretend they don't exist, because no one ever learns from that. Because if you ignore history, it happens again. So that's, you know...
It's like if you go and watch, like, you know, something, a play about King Henry VIII, and you have, like, a beheading, you go, why have you put a beheading in there? Because that wouldn't happen now. No, it wouldn't happen now. But it did back then. So why would you ignore it?
Yeah.
Oh dear, teenager. Well, you were Ferris, weren't you? You'd be Ferris. Sure.
I think I was... Yeah, I think there was a... I'd say my personality is split between the three geeks. I think there's a bit of me in all of them. Like, yeah. You're probably more like Theo, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's definitely me. I don't know, really. I mean... Gosh, that's hard. Probably tough, man, because I'm so handsome and muscular.
Yeah, that's Ben. Yeah.
Well, you want to be Janie. You want to be a bit of Janie.
Yeah, no, but I do. I think there's a bit of both of our personalities and all the characters. I think some of the, you know, the humour that comes from Gerhard and Super Hot Lady and all of those sort of stuff is stuff that, you know, that we find funny, whether it be whoever plays it, whatever the character is. It's kind of our sort of humour, and you know, it's just silly, really. It's about not taking it too seriously. So I think there's a bit of us and all of them, really.
Yeah, but they've all come from our heads.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Yeah. Well, you only write what you know, and I know about fish people, so. Yeah.
Well, how did the Rocky came? Did somebody
I asked
write?
Born about that. About the
scripts with the
interaction.
audience. Yeah.
He was telling me that apparently a lot of it was to do with they did a like a screening of the film and people started interacting with that, and then I think it made its way onto the stage that way. I'd love to do that. I think we need to keep building that audience, because you know, when you do nights like that, you've got to make sure that pretty much everyone there knows it. You know, you've got to, and all on the same time. So that's about building your audience. I still see ourselves as quite new, even though we've been on 2 runs and, you know, that sort of stuff. So we don't we don't want to alienate a new audience from feeling out, like I can't come in and see it because I haven't dressed up. I don't dress up for Rocky Horror, and you can sometimes feel like...
You will.
Oh, I will. But you can sometimes feel like, I don't know if I should be here or not. We don't want that, and I'm sure they don't either. And also from the singing point of view, I wouldn't want to watch a show where everyone's singing and I'm like, I feel uncomfortable with it. Like even when I went to see Hamilton for the first time, like everyone was singing along, or rapping along I should say, and then I was like, if you didn't know this, it'd be like, what is going on? But it's amazing, and I'd love to do that.
But I think it's organic though, isn't it? It's the
yeah.
fans of the shows that create that, and Rocky Horror has been so great because it was done organically and it just grew from that, and we can already see signs of Eugenius growing towards that, but that really has to come from them, not us. I think if you try and force, when they keep calling it like cult show, like it's cult because it's grown organically from people that love it. It's not you going, this is cult, we're going to do this, and we haven't ever done that with Eugenius. We've never gone, we're going to try and get people to dress up. Well, people just do. You know what I mean? If they do, we love it, so we encourage it.
All we've ever said was that we were influenced by, that appeal of Rocky Horror, and so that was kind of our target. So that's what we've gone for. I mean, I'd love to do the sing-along thing. It's easier for shows like Bat Out of Hell because they've got an album that's existed for longer than we've been alive. If we can do that, that'd be amazing. I mean, we sing along anyway, so... Yes, but we've always had... I've never felt during this process that we haven't had the energy or the impetus or the drive to finish it. Sometimes it's just a mental hurdle where you're like, I can't work out what to do this and I don't know if I can fix it. And then sometimes you've just got to give yourself a few days. I mean, the biggest hurdle is always the business side of things that you can't always fix. Why, if we're ready and everyone likes it, why can't we be somewhere now? And it's, and you have to understand the business side of it, and it doesn't work like that. There's logistics and timings and all of these sort of things. So that's frustrating at times, but ultimately that's when you start trusting other people and their jobs and stuff. So it's probably that side of things that's hard. It's like, if everyone likes it, why can't we be wherever we want to be? And it doesn't work like that. Yeah,
I mean, there are so many hurdles, especially when you're writing a musical, because it's so massively expensive to create a musical, to put one on. We started this as a team of 2, and now there are 20 people in it involved that all have their own opinions and all have their own expertise and stuff like that. And I think for us, it's just about, it's been a huge learning curve to learn where our expertise lie and where we do stick to our guns and go, no, it has to be like this, blah, and when we're able to maybe not agree with what people are saying, but just to take a step back and go, maybe we don't know better than these particular people right now, and being able to trust their decisions moving forward.
I think that's the key word, it's trust. When you sit in a room of 2 together, I probably stayed at Ben's for like weeks on end trying to piece together a lot of the ideas that we had. And in the minute that someone reads it and goes, well, if you do that, then that doesn't work. You can either go, well, I want that, or you go, actually, you're right, and we need to go back to the drawing board. It's opening it up to other people that's quite hard, but we've always been moving forward. We've had an amazing journey. We started at the Palladium, we got to the Palace, it went well. There's always been something. We got into the top 10 in the iTunes album charts with an unknown show, with no marketing behind the album push. That's nuts, really. So it's always been something that's kept us buoyant, really, and I'm hopefully that will continue for many more years. I don't want to ever feel like we've reached, even if it's successful, I don't want to ever feel like we're stopped.
Describe Eugenius in 3 words. I think one has to be, these are all precious words, aren't they? So, joyful.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
And
heartfelt.
Heartfelt, catchy, brilliant.
Fish people.
Heartfelt, catchy, brilliant, fish people. It's amazing, come see it. All in one word.
It's really fun.
It's really nice.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It's a nice musical. No, it's amazing. I'm so proud. Like, every time I sit there and I watch it and sit in the audience and just soak up their energy, I just sit there and go, I can't believe this. We made this. It's incredible.
It's not ours anymore, it's everybody's.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
did they even come? When did we think we were going to have fish in this?
I think I wanted a scene at one point on the films, but before we changed it, when we were like, we can do whatever we want and that sort of thing, and I was thinking about film scenes. I wanted to do a film scene like William Shatner in Star Trek when he's fighting the man in the fish mask. So my idea was going to be that there'd be a fight scene between a fish person, like, who can't see out the mask, and the hero. And then it kind of changed, but I kept the fish people in. I was like, I can't like them, so they're staying.
And then I backed it up with an amazing chant.
Yeah,
Swim, eat, poop, forget.
Yeah. Never underestimate the appeal of that. I'm not getting that tattooed on my arm, by the way.
You have to swim, eat, poop, forget. I think that might be something I would get tattooed.
Yeah, if we go
Stroke
in
Eugenius.
If we get Olivier nominated, we'll get that.
On Sunday, you missed it, but there were 4 people on second row. Each one of them with swim, eat, poop, forget.
On what?
On
T-shirts?
T-shirts.
Really?
Yes, wearing orange T-shirts. It's one with one of the words.
This kind of thing's
Someone was
amazing.
dressed as Ferris, literally the same costume.
Yeah.
Really?
Someone was dressed. A lady was dressed as Theo, and a lady turned up in a baby grow with milk bottles down the side.
Oh, I saw that on Twitter.
It was amazing. It was so cool.